Okay, so essentially what I like to do for surge route is plan out like zone possibilities, right? So the 4 most common zones I would do is the corners of the map, right? And then like if the zone pulls like some variation of that, you can have a surge route planned already. Okay, so let's first assume you're uncon, because if you're con and you fight people, right, you don't need a surge route. So in that case, what I would suggest is the fact that you really need to focus on the 4 zones. Okay, so bottom left, bottom right, and top left, right? And if it goes like straight north, you can do some variation of it, but you just need a plan. So I mean, actually there's 5 zones, right? You should include the mid map one as well. So if the first zone pulls mid map, then what's your surge route? Let's start with the bottom left. Okay, what are we looking for surge routes? Like what is the most important thing that we want to position for if it pulls like bottom left? I already see a spot right now. It looks perfect to me.
Not too congested.
Yeah, but what am I looking for? Like what sort of terrain gives me the best advantage for surge?
Like hills.
Yeah, elevation. Yeah, that's exactly right. Any elevation. So if it pulls bottom left, do you see the hill right under the 5 chests, right under your drop spot? Like where the zip line is? There.
Oh,
yeah,
right there,
yeah. That hill is actually insane for bottom left circle. Already I can tell that. For several reasons. Holly's gonna come out, right? Maybe they don't find anyone back there dead side, right? So they're just gonna come out and like you can tag them. But most importantly, the bigger source of surge is gonna be from the mid map, right? Like if we were to draw, if you could just imagine first zone being bottom left, that hill would be a really good spot for you to tag everyone, just because you have really good line of sight outwards towards mid map. Okay, does that make sense? That's what I would suggest. And then after you get your surge and then second zone pulled, so let's say pulled anywhere, and let's say pulled Slurpee, then you would rotate full dead side because you've gotten your surge already. And then if you haven't gotten your surge, then you maybe rotate into weeping. A little bit more dangerous, but you kind of need to, right? It depends on what the number is. The number what I'm referring to is the number of people left. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, so then using the same fundamentals, where would you position for mid map?
Wait, mid map?
Yeah, let's say the first zone showed up in the very center of the map, right in the middle, dab center. Where would you position? There's a really important hill that I'm looking at. I'm curious if you see it.
Here?
Sort of. That one's not bad. The only problem with that one is that, yeah, it's a little bit far to rotate. It's not easily accessible. And if you're in a really good game, you're gonna have a dilemma where people are gonna beat you to that spot, right? So then what's another hill that you can look for? There's actually 2 spots. I see a little like checkpoint that you can do, but we'll talk about that later. What's the hill that you should position if it's mid map zone? I want you to get this.
This is a hill, right?
Yeah, that's the answer.
I knew it.
Yep, it's right there. And okay, so several reasons why. If Boney is contested, which it usually is by more than one team, you will beat them to that spot. Does that make sense? You can even take tags at them in the car as you're going past, if you have a car. Usually there's a car spawn to the top right of your drop spot, right? At the houses.
Yeah, it's fine.
Right, so usually getting cars is very key to getting the surge spot because you want to be there first. Once you're there first, no one can really take you off of that hill. If you need surge, go past Boney along the top side, and then go to that spot that you're hovering right now. You can see a lot of people that you can get surge from, right? That'll be a really good spot for surge. So again, same fundamental. Well, the fundamentals of finding a spot for a surge essentially is line of sight, right? Notice the spot that you're hovering right now. You can see so much, right? You can see the North Meadow Bridge. You can see all of Boney essentially, unless they're at the back end. You can see all of mid map. This gives you a ton of options for looking for surge, right? Same with the first hill that we mentioned, right? For the bottom left zone. Now, what if it pulls top left? What are you doing for top left? I see another hill. Before we move on, let's say it's mid-map zone again, right? Same, the previous topic. I want to mention that one thing you could do before you go to the hill is you loot up really quickly, because I'm assuming you're going to be on con because it's a split drop. You go to the hill right next to like Sweaty. Take a couple tags, you should get like 50 damage, and then you can move on. Does that mean you should like checkpoint towards Sweaty and then go to Boney? Does that make sense? That's another set of like free damage, because you don't want to stick around too long. You don't want to just like start fighting them. There's no point.
I just go like around like here.
Exactly, that's exactly right. You just go exactly where your mouse showed. Yep, you could just take a couple shots at them and then go to your Boney spot. Shouldn't need up that much time. Okay, now top left. Let's go back to top left. Where do you think we should position? Think about line of sight, right? That's the most important aspect. How much area can you uncover? And also, how easy is it to leave after second zone pulls? Now, that's another thing, right? You have to make sure it's easy to run away. Like, at least leave your spot so you're not stuck there. If you're stuck there, then you're gonna have a hard time rotating for the next 3 zones.
Over here, maybe.
That's too, I would argue that's too far dead side. You will not see that many people. Think about where's congested side if it pulls top left.
Probably gonna be like this.
Yeah, basically congested side will just be towards mid-map, right? So if it pulls top left, congested side is going to be like near Boney and like that hill. However, I wouldn't sit on that hill in the top left zone, because then that's an issue, right? You might get stuck because there's so many people around you. After second zone pulls, it's going to be really hard for you to leave at that point. So in this case, it makes a lot of sense. I don't know if you see the hill, but right to the left of Pleasant, do you see that hill?
Right to the left.
Literally right there. Yeah, that's a really, really good spot because you can see all the way backwards, and also you have dibs to swim across. Does that make sense? If it pulls on coral, which is a really hard, you know, zone to get to because of the water and it's hard to swim across, as soon as it pulls, you can start going. And then if you are there early at that hill, what you're going to be able to do is manipulate the environment around you and prevent anyone to getting to coral because you can see the whole water, right? So that means your worst case scenario rotate will be very easy for you later on. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So top right, what are you doing top right? Now top right's tricky. It's not an obvious answer. Notice how no matter what the zone, you can always do the sweaty strat in between, right? You can just go next to sweaty, take tags, and then go to your spot. Just want to get like 1 or 2 air tags and then move on. Now I want you to understand also, this is a very important detail. The answers that I'm giving you are not necessarily 100% correct. Like there's multiple answers to this question. This isn't like a one answer fits all, okay? The fundamental is the hill. Right, get LOS, get line of sight, so you can get free tags. But like depending on the zone, maybe you need a search spot for third zone, then what are you gonna do, right? Like, so then it's really important you can see a lot of the map. That's all you have to remember. If you remember the fundamental, you can come up with a spot mid-game for any drop spot. Okay, good. And what about the top right? You have any thoughts?
Top right? You go like right.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So originally I was thinking Zay Hill, but most likely Orchard or Corny will beat you to that. Now Pleasant's usually con, and you can, you know, beat them to that spot. But if they beat you to that spot, you'll see it well ahead of time, right? You'll see them based up on it by the time you hit the metal bridge. So it's not like you'll run into them accidentally. If they're already there, then I would go on top of risky billboard, get a couple tags, and then go into zone. If you already have a ton of surge, then you just go full dead side. You just go all the way north. Okay, so basically the rule of thumb is if you already have surge, go dead side. If you don't have surge, you do not go dead side because you can't afford to, right? There's a reason why in really stacked games the whole map doesn't go dead side, right? Because everyone needs surge, so they're not going to just like go dead side and then pretend it's going to come to them. Very proactively look for it, right? I would also argue, do you see the hill north of Orchard though? You might be able to, if you rush with the car, to get to the hill north of that. That's a really good spot for your surge.
Like where? Here?
Yeah, like right there. And also to the left of it. There's another hill to the left of it.
Here.
That's probably closer, right? So those are good options for top right as well.
Yeah, I can base up someone can base up.
Exactly. And the key thing is you could see a lot. That's again, same concept. You can see all the way towards Corny. Anyone that's within your render distance and Corny, you can tag. Now, what I want you to do and what I want you to remember is to try them out in scrims and see if you ever have surge problems. If you have surge problems, even after basing there, it's either one of two problems that is happening, right? Number one problem is your aim sucks and you're not hitting the shots, right? You're given the opportunities, right? You can see people, so that means the spot is good, but then you're not hitting them, which is your aim. Yeah. The number two problem is you're not seeing anyone. In that case, what that means is the spot sucks, right? The spot isn't good. So then you need to switch it up. You need to find another hill. So I would experiment and figure out what works. And sometimes you'll find that even the hill isn't even available because someone else took it. So usually against like really good players, they will take the hill first, right? Because they're smart. They know they need surge, so they'll just get it. So that's why everyone likes it, the fact that when zone pulls towards them, they have extra time to loot, and then they have extra time to like just get up on the hill before anyone else. That's why zone pulling towards you is very, very good. Okay, bottom right, last one. This one's awkward too. This one's a little hard one. So the thing about the far zones, the top right and the bottom right, is that sometimes you just have to concede the fact that you're not going to get dead side, right? So sometimes you literally have to go play edge and just tag people. You might get scuffed as a result, but it's just like the only option you have. So what I would try to do is like, hey, if I can get this hill, I'm good to take it. But if someone's already up there, I might just have to like go gas station and chill there or something. That's an option. Again, this all depends on how important the surge is to you. If there's 74 people in first zone and like surge is still like 2 minutes to zap people, not a big problem, right? It's not actually that urgent. But if it's like 85 people, yeah, you need to like toss everything out the window and make sure you get that surge, because if you don't get that surge, you're gonna die. It really depends on how stacked your games are. That's the key thing that you have to remember overall everything. If there's like 72, 74, 76 people and there's like, you know, first surge hasn't closed yet, then yeah, you don't need to worry about it. It's not a big deal. You'll get it. You'll either get the surge or the surge will drop down and no one's gonna have surge. Bottom right, I'm thinking the hill north of Lazy, but that's again kind of hard to get. But if you hurry, if you really are super efficient with your looting, you could pull that off and get the hill north of Lazy. Yep, right there. That's exactly right. So what if you're gonna base up on this hill right here, you need to split up. So what I would suggest is send 2 people towards congested side and send 1 on the other hill, so you control the whole hill. This is a strat that Bizzle, Booga, and I forget who the third was, but they came up with this strat back in chapter 1, and it's really good for controlling hills. Yeah, good. These are your options. Like, especially with the fact that snipers don't exist now, being on top of a hill has become even bigger of a deal, right? Before, being on top of a hill sometimes is like, okay, I can't even look for surge because like even with the small window, people are looking at me with the sniper, but that's not a problem anymore, right? Especially when you have a chug cannon. If you have a chug cannon, getting surge is so easy. You purposely trade. You like literally sit out in the open, bait people to shoot you, and then you shoot at them knowing that you have a chug cannon on your trio and you just don't need to worry about it. So every time you find a llama, which actually in your case is going to be more common than other people because of the fact that you're in such an open area, which ups your chances, right? You're probably going to see one, maybe when you're gliding or when you're landing. If you have a chug cannon, make sure you're doing that. Surge becomes a very easy thing. You purposely trade damage, even if you lose health. As long as you don't get knocked, it's not a problem. These are your 5 zones, right? You've literally covered every possibility. There's probably some sub possibilities they can cover, maybe like northeast, southwest, maybe the straight up zones. In that case, then you can apply the same fundamental, same concept. Okay?
Yeah.
Good.